Hello everyone. In this video lecture is the continuation of the origin of biopotential and its propagation. So now I am going to discuss biopotential and its propagation. Let us discuss bioelectric potential. So bioelectric potentials are the electrical potential that is measured between the points in living cells, tissues and organisms, and which accompanies all biomedical processes. So it describes the transfer of information between and within the cells. So the recording of bioelectric potentials from biological fluids are: one is first string galvanometer, microelectrode and cathode ray oscilloscope. So this diagram is represented the string galvanometer, this one is the microelectrode, this one is cathode ray oscilloscope. The electrical potentials generated in human tissues are widely used for diagnostic purposes. The clinician used them for diagnosis for muscle, nerve, brain, cardiac, auditory and visual functions. Each cell have a difference in electrical potentials across the surface membranes. So all biopotentials are generated mostly due to diffusion of electrons across the membrane, either during resting or at any instant of the excitation. The concentration gradient of ions across the cell membrane are the direct supplier of energy to generate and maintain the resting potential. Bioelectric potentials exist between interior and exterior of the cell membrane. So generated charged ions excited on either sides of the cell membrane. So neurons have an electrical potential across the cell membrane. The nerve and muscle cells readily permit the entry of potassium and chloride ion, whereas it blocks the entry of sodium ions. Therefore, the potential difference is established and the human cell acts as a tiny biological battery. So the discharging and recharging of the cell is termed as depolarization and repolarization respectively. The next one, the structure of neuron. So the basic unit of neuron, that is nervous system, is neuron. So neuron is a single cell with a cell body is called as soma. So has one or more input fibers which is termed as dendrites. A long transmitting fiber is axon. The portion of axon adjacent to the cell body is axon hillock. So where the action potential is generated. So branch of axon is called collateral. So axons are dendrites coated with fatty insulated substances, that is called as myelin. So which helps for speedy transmission along the nerve. Both axon and dendrites nerve is called as nerve fibers. The bundle of individual nerve fibers is called as nerve. So nerve that carries sensory information from various parts of the body to brain is called as afferent neuron. So nerve that carries a signal from brain to various parts of the body is called afferent nerves. So the interconnection between neurons is called as synapses. The brain connects the spinal cord with the cell bodies and fiber bundles is called as central nervous system, CNS. So nerve fiber outside CNS is called as peripheral nervous system, which is called as PNS. So afferent peripheral nerve that bring sensory information to CNS is called as sensory nerves. So afferent nerves that controls the motor function of muscles is called as motor nerves. This diagram represents the structure of neuron. So this diagram shows how the nervous system acts to perform the function of the body. So when we take writing a person by a right hand, the left side of the brain gives the signal to the right hand through spinal cord. Next one, the resting potential. The electrical potential of a neuron or other excitable cell relative to the surroundings when not stimulated, that means at a rest, or involved in passage of an impulse, is called as resting membrane potential. The resting membrane potential of a neuron is about minus 70 millivolt. That means the inside of the neuron is 70 millivolt less than the outside. So at rest, there are relatively more sodium ions outside and more potassium ions inside the neuron. That is, the nerve and the muscle cell readily permit the entry of potassium and chloride ion but blocks the sodium ions, and it is said to be polarized. Here, look at this. Here the outside of the neuron is only for sodium ions. The inside of the neuron is only for potassium ions. Here this one is a minus 70 millivolt for this resting potential. So the resting RMP is a product of the distribution of charged ions. The resting potential is necessary for electrical excitability of nerve and muscle cells, so sensory receptions, so CNS computations. So it helps to regulate transfer of ions across the membrane. So the RMS is due to difference in concentration ions between intracellular and extracellular fluid. So the RMS is mostly depends on temperature. Here this diagram represents the measurement of resting potential. The resting potential VR is derived by Goldman equation. Here the VR is equal to minus kT by Q in natural logarithm of permeability of potassium and concentration of potassium due to inside the cell plus permeability of sodium and that is a concentration of sodium due to inside the cell and plus the permeability of chloride ion and concentration of chloride ion presence outside the cell. So divided by permeability of potassium, that is concentration of potassium due to outside the cell, present in the outside the cell, plus permeability of sodium and concentration of ion in the outside of the cell plus permeability of chloride and concentration of ion in the inside of the cell, where VR is nothing but resting potential and K is the Boltzmann constant and T is the absolute temperature in Kelvin, where Q is the charge of an electron, which is nothing but 1.602 into 10 power minus 19 coulombs. So according to Boltzmann equation, the resting potential is, that is VR is approximately equal to 86.8 millivolt. So substitute in this equation this one, the permeability of potassium and the permeability of calcium is approximately 0, so that this equation becomes Nernst equation, reduces to Nernst equation. So E is equal to minus RT divided by NF into natural logarithm of C1 into F1 by C2 into F2, where R is the gas constant, T T is the absolute temperature, N is the valence of an ion, F is the Faraday's constant, and C1, C2 are the two concentrations of the ion on the two sides of the membrane, whereas F1 and F2 are respective activity coefficient of an ion on the two sides of the membrane. The geninous and the ionic basis of these potentials were visibly revealed by using voltage clamping techniques, channel blockers, patch clamp techniques. The polarized ions prepare the neuron for an active potential and it is termed as dynamic equilibrium and gets ready for a change in its electrical charge. So during this potential, the cell membrane keeps some chemical form passing back and forth from inside to outside of the neuron. This membrane is selectively permeable to chemicals. So that is, chemicals passes easily through this membrane. Next, the outside sodium is beyond 10 times more concentration than inside of the neuron. The sodium is removed from inside and potassium is allowed because of the sodium potassium pump. Here you see here look at this here. This diagram represents the due to the sodium potassium pump. So in this sodium potassium pump is made of proteins and it transports sodium outside of the cell and potassium inside into the cell. So the selectively permeable membrane and the blocked sodium gates keeps the pumped out sodium coming back. The sodium concentrated on outside of the cell has more positive charge and chloride has negative charge. The potassium with a positive charge is heavily concentrated inside the cell. The difference between the potassium chloride and sodium retains the neuron in dynamic equilibrium and gets ready for an action potential while the neuron is at rest. References. These are all the references I have referred for preparing this video lecture. Thank you for watching this video.